Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Monica. I'm a tarot reader and astrologer, and today I'm sharing with you the spread that I have used the most in my tarot practice. This includes both for clients and for myself. So I'm following on from my previous video where I shared my collection of tarot spreads that I keep in this folder. And the spread that I have used the most working as a reader is this one called the Horseshoe Spread. I obtained this tarot spread from my teacher Fern Mercier in New Zealand back when I was studying with her, and it's a really wonderful spread to use, and I'll elaborate a little bit on why that is. So I'm going to pull it out because there's a bit of glare from these plastic sleeves. I'm just gonna pull it out, and this is an 8-card spread, and the reason I like this spread is that it allows you to have an overall view of the person's scenario or situation and where they're at. The spread starts off with the significator, which is the overall situation in card number 1. Many times this card ends up being a core card, so I don't pre-select this. I let the cards, I shuffle at random and then I deal the cards. And I have been surprised by how many times the very first card ends up being a core card. Okay, because that makes sense, being that it's the significator card and it's their overall situation. So it describes their attributes and attitude at that moment when you're reading for them and what's going on around in their life. The other reason I like this spread is it's got, on the left hand side here, it's got the past, the present and the future. So straight away you have this really nice trio that gives you like a snapshot of a pattern and what is happening in their life. Now the future, card number 4, it's actually called immediate future. And my experience with the spread has been that this immediate future often relates to the outcome, which is card number 8. So you have both an immediate future, which is what's coming up next, and then you have this outcome card here. And these two, often there's a relationship between these two, but also the outcome card is very dependent on the 5th card, the advice card. And as the reading points out, this is the focal point of the reading, okay? So we're coming down to this card number 5, the advice or the guidance card for the querent. And often this card, it invites the querent to take a particular action, right? So because it is their advice card, whether that's to let go or whether to actually be proactive, whether it's to, take a rest, or, if you get the Hangman, it's very much about letting things go and not doing anything, not taking any action. But if you get a card like, the Knight of Swords, for example, then the advice card is to go for it, to be proactive. So that's the 5th card, which is the focal point of the reading. The 6th card is their immediate environment, things from around their environment. Often you see here like a group card, not necessarily, but very common to see a group card, like a group of people, like say the 4 of Wands, for example, when there's, or the 10 of Pentacles, like their immediate environment. But it can also be things like, the Devil, which shows that in their immediate environment, things that are around them, surrounding them, there's temptation, for example, or there's a danger there, and they need to be careful. Sometimes, for example, if you get the 5 of Cups here, it means that the immediate environment has the energy of loss, and that colors everything surrounding them and around their immediate environment. The 7th card is a challenges card, and it is called the hopes and fears. I like to think of it as simply as challenges. So an example, in card number 7, say if you get a really good card like the 9 of Pentacles, which is a card of material wealth, of richness, of abundance. Well, if that comes up as a challenge, that means that it will be a challenge for the querent to maintain a lifestyle that they might be accustomed to, that has material plenitude and the financial resources for them to spend as they wish, whenever they wish, for example, you know. So that's what this seventh card outlines for the querent. And the eighth card is again the outcome card, and I really like this spread because it has both, like I said, the future, the outcome card, but also the advice here, which ties into the outcome. You know, if you get a positive card in the eighth card, well, that's very much tied to their guidance, and they need to follow that guidance in order to achieve that positive outcome. I have used the spread on a regular basis for those clients that do not have a set question. So they come to see me, and you know, I prefer my clients to have particular questions. That's really how I work best. It doesn't matter what area of life, it doesn't matter even if it's a yes or no question. You know, we can work around and tease it out and do different pulls on a particular issue or a question. But you will find that if you work as a reader, quite common, someone comes to you because, well, they don't have a problem, they don't have an issue, but they're maybe perhaps in a bit of a limbo. They don't really know what to do, or they just want to see what the cards tell them, or they're just curious about tarot, and they want to see what's this reading all about. And so this is a really wonderful spread to use in those circumstances, because it offers 8 cards that each look at an area of life, or, you know, you've got the guidance card, you've got things from their environment, you've got what's challenging them, and you'll be amazed that once you start, I normally how I do the spread is after I lay it down, I start with the past, the present, and the future. And often, by the time I finish talking about the past, you can really tell that the querent, you know, they're really paying attention because it resonates with them, you know. And then you go on to the present, and, you know, then you can get a really nice conversation going. So even though someone comes to see you and they have nothing to talk about, or they don't have a particular issue or a problem, this is a great spread to use as a conversation starter, and as to give them like an outline, a general view, an overview of their scenario and where they are at. And of course, I use this spread for myself personally. I use it both in that general sense, without a specific question, but it's also a wonderful spread to use when you do have a particular question, and that can be including yes or no questions. It doesn't have to be, but if you have a question such as, you know, will I get this particular job, or you know, will I be successful in this business venture, for example, lay out the spread, and the future and the outcome will really tell you whether it's a yes or no answer fairly clearly. Okay, so that wraps up my video for today. I hope it's informative for you, and I encourage you to go ahead and give this tarot spread a go. There are variations of the horseshoe spread online that I have come across. I still work with this one because I've just found it that it works really well for me, and so I change it. Of course, you can alter this and change it as you wish. You know, you can always make it a 10-card spread and add another couple of cards either side, and it's up to you what other things you want to look at. But I find a spread, yeah, it's my go-to spread. I've used this numerous or countless times. I also find that it works much better than the Celtic cross. I couldn't remember it, and it's so ubiquitous. And the reason for that is that I find the Celtic cross, the one that I use, it's an 11-card spread. Often it's a 10-card spread, and that's a really involved spread. That's a spread that I use, you know, when I need to allow an hour and sit down and we look at something in depth. I prefer to know the question, the issue, when I use that particular spread, the Celtic cross. But with this one, I can use it in any situation, any circumstance, for anyone, and I have found it to be a really wonderful spread to use, and I keep it in my book of collection of spreads, my treasury of tarot spreads, even though I know it off by heart. So I no longer look at this spread when I read at festivals. I will just tell the client, you know, I will do a horseshoe spread for them. I voice that out loud, and then I go ahead and I lay the spread, and I know exactly what each card is, what it means, what each position stands for, and I go from there. So I will wrap it up now. I, as always, thank you for watching, and I thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you.